Hi, this is Dan Blank, college soccer coach and author of the Soccer IQ series of books. Welcome back to another edition of Soccer IQ TV, the Shutout Pizza Files, where we take goals scored and look at them as goals conceded, and we break down what the defending team maybe could have done differently to potentially prevent the goal from being scored. Today, we're going to look at a goal from a Division I women's college soccer match and see what we can learn. Okay, just to set this up, the white team is on the ball, attacking the goal to the left. The dark team is obviously defending that goal. We're going to let this clip play through once at full speed so you get an idea of the big picture. And then we'll come back and break it down frame by frame. A myriad of things have gone wrong for the defending team here in a very, very brief period of time. It's kind of one of the things I like about this clip. It shows the importance of instantaneous decision making, taking the big picture and breaking it down in your mind as quickly as possible, and letting that guide your decisions on your positioning. So right here, we have to look at the numerical situation. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers against 1, 2, 3 defenders. Okay. Now, break it down further. We've got 1, 2, 3 attackers here against 2 defenders here. And then finally to the far outside, and this is going to be our biggest concern, and it's ultimately where the goal comes from, is a 2 against 1. So the center back here has to be aware of the numerical disadvantage she has to the right side of her. So as the player on the ball approaches her, her number one job has to be to steer the ball carrier to the outside. And to do that, she's going to need to almost overcommit a little bit by stepping forward and maybe a little bit to the interior. But she has got to make sure this ball goes back out that way and doesn't come across this way. Another good reason for her to kind of overplay the inside and force things to the outside is she's got some help in this trailing player here. So if we overcommit a little bit, make sure the ball stays to the outside, there's a reasonably good chance that this player can get involved and her recovery might win the ball back. Okay, so that's what has to happen. Instead, the ball gets to the middle. Now, this player dives in for a tackle, and I'm torn about my evaluation of that. All right, because initially my thought is her number one job, again, much like the player, her teammate who went before her, her number one job has to be to push the ball back to this side of the field. She's got to keep the ball away from this 2 against 1 in here. The problem I have with my own evaluation of this is if this player, if she's worried about this player pushing a return pass to the player running through. So maybe that's what's on her mind, and she kind of she wants to make sure that that ball doesn't get through that little seam there. Maybe that's why she dives in. That said, I think we've got to do a better job of reading this player's body language. It looks like she's going to receive the ball with the outside of her foot, and I think that little cue might have been enough to change this player's mind, and again, just take a little more conservative stance and push the ball back from the direction of which it came. But she doesn't do that. She dives in. She doesn't get a whole lot on this tackle, and now this player is able to spin out to this side of the field. All right, now here's that 2v1 we talked about earlier. This right back needs to, absolutely must know that there's a wide open player out here. So her angle of approach needs to be something that cuts the ball off from reaching her. All right, so your help is here. It's coming this direction. And even if you're worried about a shot, you've got to be able to make sure that this ball doesn't get out to this player. So your angle of approach needs to cut off that potential pass, but instead she comes straight on, and at this point, it's game over, right? It took 2 passes to get the ball from here over to here, and that's everything we needed to prevent against. But because we didn't get the job done, the ball gets out to that player in the left wing, and then it's a nifty little chip for the goal. I think the most important lesson we pull from this video is how important it is to be aware of the numerical advantages and disadvantages as the attacking team is approaching your end of the field. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Soccer iQTV, the Shutout Pizza Files. If you want to pick up a copy of Shutout Pizza, it's available on Amazon.com. Also, I encourage you to visit my website, read my blog at soccerpoet.com. If you want to pick up some really cool gear like this Soccer IQ t-shirt or this Soccer IQ hat, visit socceriqshop.com. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.